Gobble, gobble, Nicholas. Gobble, gobble. Gobble, gobble. I'm going to ask you a question.
Oh boy.
I don't typically do this right off the rip, Nicholas.
Wow. Highly unprofessional.
I am time stamping this because it is. If you can tell from the gobble gobble that it is Thanksgiving is just a mere few days away. Nicholas, what are you thankful for? Before you answer, I want to see what I'm thankful for.
Go ahead.
You.
Yeah. Oh wow, I'm thankful for you. Who the fuck knew? Who saw that coming?
I am thankful for this podcast. I am thankful for all the guests that routinely come on our program.
Mm-hmm.
I am extremely thankful that we get to do this each and every week. We have a lot of fun with it, Nicholas. You've become a great friend. Okay, Uncle.
Thank you very much.
To my Tio Nicolai. What is Nicholas in Portuguese?
Nicholas. Nothing.
Nicholas. Oh, I like that. Nicholas.
Yeah. Nothing
Theo
crazy.
Nicholas.
Not like Russian where it's like Nikolai or anything.
Like see, that would be badass. You kind of got the short end of you got the dark end of the stick there.
Yeah. There you go.
But in all serious, Nicholas, I am thankful for you, for the show, the great times we have together. And that will be the only positive thing I say about you today. So relish it, love it, embrace it, because you've got 51 more weeks before it happens again. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, listeners of all ages, TLDR Studios proudly presents to you the greatest, and I mean the greatest, gobbliest podcasting team in the world. That did not come out how I wanted it to come out. He is the comic book writer, Nick Frieder. I am your friendly neighborhood backcracker and supreme dictator and tyrant for life, Backcracker. And together we are the TLDR Comic Book Club, baby. That was Nick Frieder.
Yep, that might be your third time that you've done that. My favorite one is still Dick Frieder. That one was all time. But yes, I am thankful for you, even though you didn't give me a chance to follow up on actually really answering.
I need to beat you to the punch. If you ain't first, you're last, Nicholas.
I am thankful for all the guests that we've had on the show. You and I are taking stock, and obviously, when we started out this show, it was primarily just reviews, talking about trades, talking about collected editions. And then it turned into doing interviews. And if you look at what we did this year, we've had 21 guests on. The year's not over yet, but if you break it down, that's almost half the year. And, we're trying to give you guys everything we would want in a podcast that we listen to all in one place. And we've done that. Joe, we've been doing that for a little while now, and we're having a lot of fucking fun doing it. So I'm very grateful for that. And I'm grateful for our listeners. And one I want to call out specifically right now too is Jur Panic on YouTube, who is and also on our Spotify channel, who's been complimenting us and leaving some feedback and everything like that. Some of the books that they are enjoying as well. And I just want to say thank you for all the feedback, and we're glad that you're having a fun time with the show. And of course, we have our other loyal listener too, who's always commenting on YouTube that we're his favorite comic book podcast on the planet, which is awesome to hear. And also, I want to make sure, because I saw he liked our stream on Twitter, my coworker, Emerson Latia. I'm thankful for him. If I don't say that, he's going to get pissed at me. So I need to
pop them glizzies, baby. Pop them glizzies.
But speaking of guests, we are doing What's New this week. And for those who are new to the show, whenever we do What's New, that means we just talk to somebody, a creator from the industry, whether it's a writer, artist, in this case, someone that does a bit of both, primarily a writer, though, and Kyle Starks. And we talked to him about his upcoming title over at Dark Horse Comics. And I'll tell you, we Those Not Afraid, which Joe actually, we didn't talk about this, but you did try to take dibs on this book. And I was like, when you texted me dibs, I was like, if you think I'm not fucking getting Kyle on the show after I saw the premise of this book, you're fucking high.
Was that on a solicit, or was that through a social media dip?
You did it. You texted me after seeing it announced. Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And did you actually? So Joe and I, before the interview, we got the first 2 issues. It's a 4-issue miniseries. We have since got the 3rd and 4th issue. I have not read those yet. Have you read them yet?
No, there was a ton. There was a ton of stuff that we're going to get into
Yeah.
that we to talk about today that I wanted to read, but I can't wait. I can't wait. That's why they call me Gorton, because I'm the fisherman, baby.
Yeah,
And
yeah. Well
I
done.
got those. I got us the entire series.
You
You're
did.
welcome.
You did. Thank you very much. And just for everybody who's wondering too, the FOC for that, if you haven't listened to the Fireside Chat already, the FOC for that is December 2nd. So it's coming right up on you. So Black Friday, while you're doing your shopping, if you go to a local comic shop, your local comic shop, make sure you add that to your pull list. The first issue is going to be coming out on January 8th. We have already read the first 2 issues. It's outstanding. Cannot wait to read issues 3 and 4. I will definitely be doing that over this extended weekend. Just the first sentence of the synopsis: 2 serial killers discover they are within reach of the state record for kills, and they enter a terrible competition to see who gets there first. I mean, what more do you friggin' need? I'm absolutely in. Now, if you haven't heard the Fireside Chat and you're wondering what the fuck is a Fireside Chat, the only place you're going to find those conversations, again, with creators across the industry, are on our audio channels. So make sure you go subscribe to Apple, Spotify, Geeks Worldwide Radio, Amazon Music. We're on the major platforms. You can find us there: Overcast, whatever, Pocket Cast. Subscribe, leave a rating and review. Otherwise, you're going to 5 stars only. Otherwise, you're going to learn the real meaning of Backcracker. But that is the only place you can find those conversations. Everything else, you can watch YouTube. We're happy to hang out with you guys there. Same over on Twitter. We're posting stuff to Blue Sky once they stream. I'm sure we'll get over there as well. And of course, we're on Instagram Live always when we are streaming. But enough of plugging ourselves, Joe. We got a lot. Holy crap. We got a ton of books out this week. We honestly, everybody, we were just going to do what's new because of the holiday. But then we got the review copies before the weekend, and I started reading shit, and I'm like, and Joe and I hung out over the weekend, and I was like, I'm going to ask him if he wants to do what's new still, because there's a lot of fucking good books out this week. And then you were like, I'm down. And then you read it, and it's like, I was not wrong, right?
No, I got to tell you, this is probably one of the most solid weeks in recent memory. And, it's like, there's some weeks where I'm like, I have every intention of reading everything. I can't get to it. Today, I read everything. Well, this week, I should say, I read everything. I flew through everything. It was, I mean, we're gonna dive in. We're gonna dive in.
Let's just do it. We're not doing any catching up this week. Let's go to what's new. We're not breaking down any Marvel books this week. For me, Mystique issue 2 is out, which I am very excited to check this one out and talk about it more another time. I do have dibs on this, but what else do we got from Marvel?
So from Marvel, we have the Amazing Spider-Man issue 62, Uncanny X-Men issue 6, Ultimate Black Panther issue 10, The Incredible Hulk issue 19, Iron Man issue 2, Venom War issue 5, Spider-Boy issue 13, Dazzler.
Oh, yes, sorry. Yep, we figured it out, everybody.
Hell yeah! There it is.
Hell
baby.
Yeah.
That doesn't make good for the listeners, but for those watching, Dazzler issue 3, Nick is just radiant with sparkles. Mystique issue
buddy.
2. There it is.
The best part is that you tried to do it and it wasn't fucking working. I don't get it.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, hey, it's sometimes we have performance issues, Nicholas. It just happens.
Wow, I wouldn't go. That's
okay. Spirits of Vengeance issue 3, Star Wars: The Battle of Jakku, Republic Under Siege issue 2, Avengers United Infinity Comic issue 58, Blade issue 2, and West Coast Avengers issue 1.
Yeah, I might check that one out. But also Uncanny X-Men. I didn't mention that one before, but obviously been really enjoying what Gail Simone and Marquez have been doing over there. I mean, I love the art, but also again, Nightcrawler, Gambit, Rogue, Wolverine, all under one title. And you're focusing on them primarily. That book's made for me if there ever was one. Then we move over to DC Comics. We got a couple books that we want to break down here. Detective Comics 1091, Superman issue 20, Action Comics 1077, Green Arrow issue 18, The Flash issue 15, Batman The Long Halloween, The Last Halloween issue 3, Harley Quinn issue 45, Batman The Brave, The Brave and the Bold issue 19, Power Girl issue 15, Multiverses Collision Detected issue 6, Batman Wayne Family Adventures issue 140, Justice League Unlimited issue 1, Black Canary, Best of the Best issue 1. I wanted to read this. I did not get to read this one, unfortunately, but I am excited to check this one out. And then Batman Santa Claus Silent Night Returns issue 1. But then we got 2 books. What?
Yes, before we dive into these books, I just want to say real quick, Tom Taylor, right? So a couple of these titles, right, have got new writers on them, right?
Yes.
Tom Taylor, it's his second issue on Detective Comics.
Oh.
Holy cow. Holy
Mhm.
cow. Such a great issue. And then Superman issue 20, of course, is written by Joshua Williamson. Doomsday's in the mix, folks. He's been in the mix. That's not a spoiler. But where this story is going, absolutely tremendous. Both these issues knocked my socks off. But Nicholas, why don't you lead us off first?
Okay, happily. So, Absolute Wonder Woman issue 20. And I think this was the first thing that I read because we get DC stuff a little bit sooner sometimes. This is Kelly Thompson and Hayden Sherman, not Christensen. Otherwise, he's going to kill us. But I like what we learned in this issue of Absolute Wonder Woman is do not mess with Absolute Wonder Woman. This version of Diana is not going to get pushed around, and more importantly, she's not going to go out of her way to be diplomatic. And I was like, I think I'm in love. Like I was reading this whole thing. Like she's measured, but she's forceful. Like I just and there's great action throughout this. I know we all want the action and stuff like that. Hayden Sherman kicks ass and everything like that. But the way that Wonder Woman handled herself throughout this like issue after the fight was what really like is really going to stick with me and really drew me in.
I love this iteration of Wonder Woman. And it's a little unfortunate that it's only going to be what 5 issues? How many issues?
Well, I mean, Scott said that I saw Scott tweet out like him and Nick Dragata obviously doing Absolute Batman. Like it's not just one arc. So I don't know.
Okay.
We got that.
Okay.
I thought we saw that somewhere, but so I don't know about Absolute Wonder Woman either.
Because I need more. This iteration of what Wonder Woman might be my favorite. And the thing I love the most, it's a simple little thing. But I think it's what's made a lot of these absolute all-in books so great. It's like just subtle little tweaks to things. It's her lasso.
Oh
We all
yeah,
know
great
Wonder
call.
Woman, her lasso of truth, right? The lasso, even the lasso is different, but the way that Hayden Sherman draws its look, its aesthetic, is just I don't know. It's a simple little thing, and I go, that's awesome.
Exactly, and that like alone, like what you're remembering and what I'm remembering, like from this issue, like there's so much to like from what's coming from these absolute titles. And again, like I felt like after the first like each single issue that we got, each first issue that we got of these 3 absolute titles, I was probably had Absolute Wonder Woman at number 3. Right now this is my favorite second issue. I like this one more. I like the Absolute Batman issue 2. I like this one more though.
Yeah, I can't wait to read Absolute Superman issue 2.
Yep.
But right now I'm gonna say true. It was Superman, Wonder Woman, Batman for me. Like out of the first issues, that's the order I'd rank it. Could Wonder Woman jump to 1 overall after all the second issues are perhaps? I gotta see where Superman goes, but like it was just those 2 are absolutely killing it. Absolutely killing it.
Absolutely awesome stuff. Now, what about Nightwing issue 120?
So again, right, we're talking about new writer taking over, right? So Dan Watters, right? It's his second issue with Nightwing, and I will wax poetic about Tom Taylor's run on Nightwing all day long. So much so that I bought the first volume of Taylor's run on Nightwing for my nephew for Christmas.
Hell yeah!
And so there was a certain one of the things that I liked with Dan Watters' first issue was that he kept the tone. Like it was just a nice blend going from Tom Taylor's arc into where Dan Watters is taking it, where it's you still have Dick Grayson, the vibe of Dick Grayson, right? The tone. And now with the second issue, it's starting to now shift and become a little bit more. Dan's got his imprint on it, which I think is great. It was just that first issue was a great transition, and now we're starting to move, in the direction that Dan Watters wants to take it. And one of my favorite things was just the relationship between Dick and Babs, right? And we still have that. That vibe is still there. I think the core of what makes Dick Grayson so great under Tom Taylor's run is still there, but there's a new layer of badassery, if you will. And this was one of the darker Nightwing books that we've gotten in a long time. And there's some things that happen that make you go, oh.
Ooh.
and then the way it ends, Nick, when you get a chance to read this, right? Because it's Fico Ossio, right, on the art. There's just the look that he draws on Dick Grayson's face at the end of this issue will make your jaw drop. You just go, oh, I didn't know Dick had that in him. Let's go, baby.
Ooh,
Let's
is it
go.
Fico Ossio or is it Dexter Soy?
Oh, sorry, Dexter. You're right. It's Dexter Soy.
Honestly, though, like
you love them both.
Yes.
And like,
I was gonna say I totally get why you do that because they're like there's a similar style there. And I love
Dexter
both
Soy. Sorry, Dexter. But yes, the way he drew, you're gonna look and you go, oh, okay, giddy up. Let's go.
Giddy up.
Let's dance, baby.
Oh,
right?
wow.
So
right.
yeah,
okay.
It was excellent.
All right. I'm going to take us through Boom real quick here. We got 3 from Boom this week. We got Hello Darkness, issue 5.
My old friend.
Red Before Black, issue 3. And then Jim Henson's Labyrinth, issue 3. And then we got Dark Horse. What do you got for me, Joe?
So from Dark Horse, we have Anansi Boys, issue 6. We have The Serpent in the Garden, Ed Gray, and The Last Battle for England, issue 1. Tighten that up, perhaps. A little long. Welcome to the Maynard, issue 1, or as we say here, welcome to the Maynard, issue 1. And then one of my books of the week, Nicholas. We both loved the first issue. The second issue, I don't know if you had a chance to read it yet.
Yep.
Was exceptional, and that's the Carlisle School for Kings, issue 2.
Yep.
Again, we're getting a great run of fantasy books, and this is just, again, it's a great ode to those high fantasy, stories that I think, all us fantasy nerds love. But it's in general, it's just a great story, and I love some of the twists and turns that happens. There's a real pivotal moment in this issue. There's 2 actually that just make you go, oh man, I need issue 3 now. This is one of those books, Nicholas. This is one of those books, Nicholas, that I wish was an OGN. I want it all at once. I want it now. It's just like, this to me feels like it could be, like chapter 1 and 2 of a prose fantasy novel, right? Like there's some really great storytelling that's going on here. And I want my stories, and I want it now.
Yes. Well, if only every writer was Kyle Starks. It just
right. I know. but like it was an excellent second issue, and I think this is gonna be a really, really kick-ass story when it's all said and done.
Yeah, I just want, there's some stuff in here that's pretty fucked up. Like, just from a social standpoint, it's just like, you're an asshole, and you're a few of them are psychos, which we already knew that, but the asshole stuff's like, oh, okay, all right, cool. Yeah. Well, all right. You're just, it's a lot of layers, a lot of different moving pieces. I've really enjoyed it. And then the end too was just it's one of those things where it wasn't like this big bombastic ending, but it was just like, oh yeah, like, okay, now things might get big and bombastic. It was a nice touch. I really enjoyed that. Then we move over to Mad Cave. We got Gotcha Man, issue 5, Gotcha Man Galactor, issue 6, Soul Taker, issue 5, Synap, issue 1. And then, Joe, we have the second issue of Murder Kingdom, which is, of course, written by Fred Van Lent and drawn by Chris Panda. And if you are one of those people who have thoughts on certain worlds or lands type of amusement theme parks, believe it or not, there is a comic book that is being written and drawn right now for you. I never would have thought I'd fucking seen it, but here we are. There is a lot going wrong at Storybook Kingdom, a lot of stuff that has to be hidden, and we get more of a lay of the land in the first issue, and I thought it was great. Felt like it felt familiar, and then we're getting to know the main character and all this. And then in this issue, the plot, Joe, just fucking took off.
Yeah. Murder Kingdom issue 2, right, is when I read it, it makes me think of places like Storyland, like Canterbury Lake Park, Santa's Village. Like, it's not as big as, say, a Disneyland or or Universal, but it's the same thing where it's like
But there's a
everyone has
familiarity
to.
with that though too. Like
Oh
certain, yeah.
yeah, 100%, right? But like for me, because I grew up going to places like Candy Lake Park, it's Storyland, especially Storyland. It's got that sort of like seedy kind of feel to it, where the characters, you're not supposed to break character and all that. And so this is such a fun yet wildly twisted take on that premise of like, of your sort of like, I don't know, mid-market takes itself way too serious amusement park, right? And this, like the first issue, like you get introduced to all of it and it was a lot of fun, and then like it gets a little twisted sort of at the end. You go, oh, okay. And then this issue is just, it's all in.
Yeah.
It's all in on the chaos. And talk about layers, right? It is 4, 5, 6 layers deep. There's a lot of different things going on, a lot of great moving parts. The pacing of it is excellent. And what's good is that it takes some twists and turns that you really don't see coming. And I love the way that the second issue ended, because it was really, really macabre. And this was just, I hate to say that a book that was this kind of twisted was a lot of fun, but it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's all fiction. It's all fun. We're just messing around. It's all our imagination. Nothing's real. But
Imagination land.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. Sure, whatever that is.
Did you not see that South Park with Imagination Land?
Oh wow. Okay.
Man Bear Pig, right? And they got
Imagination.
No, you got.
You dug back into the vault for that one.
Damn right I did.
But with Murder Kingdom, I think this is also a great example of like, we had a good first issue. Like both of us were absolutely in after reading the first issue. The second issue was like so much better. And that's not a knock on the first issue. This is what I mean when I say like sometimes the second issue can be more important, because like now there's no like nothing's gonna pull me from this series. Like it doesn't matter. I'm seeing this the full way through because that issue was so damn good. But yeah, some awesome stuff from Mad Cave this week. I'll take us through these other ones, Joe, before we wrap things up with Image and Skybound, where we have a few books that we want to break down. We have IDW Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Saturday Morning Adventures issue 19, Star Trek Defiant issue 21, and then of course we haven't had to wait on it. We got it early. You guys have had to wait for the 4th issue of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the Donnie issue, and I think we're both in agreement, Joe, that this was the best of the first 4 issues of Jason Aaron's run.
Yeah, hands down. This one, and then very closely followed by the Raphael issue, and then Mikey, and then Leo.
Yeah,
the Leo issue was excellent.
No, they were all good. That the Leo one was still good. We're in lockstep though. The absolute same rankings on that right now, you and I. Then we go over to Vault. We got Something Crawled Out issue 4, Goobers issue 3. From Oni Press, we got Rick and Morty Super Special Holiday Extravaganza issue 1, Sectars issue 2, and Sesame Street issue 4. From Titan, we got Conan the Barbarian issue 17. From Ablaze, we got Parliament of Rooks issue 2. From Dynamite, we got Red Sonja issue 16, Lilo and Stitch issue 7, and then Chitara issue 5. And that, Joe, brings us to Image and Skybound.
Whoo, man, what a week. A week. Kicking things off, we have Void Rivals issue 14, excellent. Spawn issue 359, Universal Monsters Frankenstein issue 4. That is the finale. That, of course, written by Michael Walsh. This Universal series that they've got, the Monster series that Image and Skybound is doing, is just absolutely tremendous. And this was an excellent finale. We have Feral issue 8. Oh man! Oh
my God,
Tony, you made Trish. You really made Trish work in this issue. Holy cow!
You are a sick puppy. Holy crap!
Yeah,
it was so good.
It was excellent. So one of the books I did catch up on, even though we didn't mention much in catching up or anything in catching up, was I forgot I had failed to read Falling in Love on the Path to Hell issue 5, so I read that, and then immediately read Falling in Love on the Path to Hell issue 6, which was a steamy issue. Nicholas,
ooh,
little. Have you read it yet?
That's actually one that I didn't read yet. It's a good one. I've definitely, I mean, I've talked about it on here on a few of the issues, obviously, but like that's one I definitely want to take my time with, and with having a bunch of stuff out this week, it didn't fit in my schedule. I'm being a diva, but
Make it fit. It's excellent.
no, you're right.
Grommets issue 6.
Oh, fucking nuts! That issue is this is crazy. I can't
This
wait
is
to
the
talk about
skateboard
Grommets.
book, right?
Yeah, I can't wait to talk about it on
Yeah.
the show, man. It's been so fun. But this was the craziest issue, yeah, by fucking far.
Love that.
God.
Ultra Mega issue 7, Napalm Lullaby issue 7, Creep Show issue 3, Knights issue 12, Knights vs Samurai issue 3, Savage Dragon issue 273, Violent Flowers issue 7, Hornsby and Halo issue 1, and then we got 3 books, Nicholas, from Image and Skybound that we want to discuss. Why don't you kick us off?
Yeah, I'm going to start with Jeff Johns and Ivan Reese's Hyde Street issue 2, because we got your guy, Pip Pranky Peabody. And we already knew that he was a scary little bastard, but holy shit, he is absolutely terrifying. There are so many shots of him throughout this issue that are just like straight nightmare fuel. But that said, there's an image that is an homage to this very well-known painting that we have like in American history, that I saw it and right away was like, oh my God, I love that they did that. So well done, such a nice fit, and obviously such a twisted story, but it was like it was so perfect. That was probably my favorite thing that came out of this issue. But all around, like getting to know this character more was very satisfying. His story and everything else, looking at his past, looking at his present, getting an idea of what's going on in the future. Everything about it with this character, I really enjoyed it. This is a really strong start to this horror series. Hyde Street is right up our alley, where it's focused on like a certain. We have a lot of moving pieces, and it's focused on one place, like a la Hotel, in sync both by John Lees with artists. I love what we've gotten from Hyde Street so far.
Yeah, I mean, I love the premise of it. Like you said, I think Hotel is a great sort of comp. I love the fact that this street exists, and if you're on this street, that you've done wrong. You've done something. You've screwed up. Yep. And the character that done screwed up in this issue, like, yeah, like I thought it was going to go in one way, and then it completely went in a different direction. And go, geez, Louise.
Yeah.
And then we get all that Pip stuff as well. So like, just excellent, just creepy, terrifying series. Norman Rockwell.
Hey, yes. No, don't say it. Yeah.
God. You wrote it there. I thought
it's for you to know, because you look confused when I was saying it. Well,
don't do that next time, Nicholas.
Yep, yeah,
because I was trying to think. I was like, I know the artist, and I was trying to think of the artist's name. So, but
okay. It'll be only the people on the stream are gonna know, so you guys can circle back on that later. I will edit that in post for sure. And actually, unlike our friends on hashtag,
that's your fault. That's your fault. That's on you, Nicholas. You know, when you read something, don't put it on the screen.
Now I've learned, Mr. Burgundy. Why don't you tell me a little bit about the Tin Can Society, because I know the 3rd issue of that is out this week.
Yeah, so this is another one I caught up on, because things got a little screwy, when we received things and when I was able to read them. So again, I had the absolute joy of reading issues 2 and 3 back to back. And this is another series that I don't know what it is, Nicholas, like with all the books that we've talked about today and all the books that have been coming out recently, but like the Tin Can Society is, the premise is right of these sort of childhood friends that grew up together. They formed, their little clique there, and then as they grew up, they grew apart. Right, some of which stayed together, some of which became partners, some of which they really, really hate each other. But the main character, is disabled, but he's a genius. And he develops sort of this, this sort of robotic, limbs for people who are disabled, so they can, move and live their quality of life, becomes increased. And in the process, he himself, changes, and the events that happen in this, in this issue, um, are just absolutely mind blowing, because what you get is you get, more layers to the character story, but you get more of the seedier underbelly of what's potentially going on. There's a real sinister plot here where our main character has developed this tech that's it's almost Iron Man like, and there's a bad guy that we still don't know who it could be, right? The issue sort of takes you through these twists and turns. Is it one of his fellow friends, partners, and as it's going along, it just you're so sucked in to the story. And again, like, I want issue 4 now. Like, I'm selfish, Nicholas. I don't want to wait. And that's the sign of a good comic, of a good story. You just want to keep going. You don't want to put the story down. So this was again another action packed issue. And I love, like, when we get those issues where you get more backstory that really fleshes things out. And it's done in such a way where it doesn't bring the story to a halt. It all sort of weaves together brilliantly. So Tin Can Society, again, is another book that I just absolutely love this week.
It's this is another great example of like why we do what we do, because you and I are covering so much ground, and then one of us decides, oh yeah, I'll just take a look at this. Like I haven't like Nick hasn't called dibs on it, and I don't know, but and then it turns out to be an awesome title. So I can't wait to hear you talk about it more.
This is going to be one that I think gets discussed as soon as it wraps up.
Nice.
It goes to the top of the list. It's excellent.
Nice. Let's see. Of course, then we have one last book that we want to discuss between the two of us that we are both reading, and that is Rogue Sun, issue 23. Of course, Ryan Parrott, Nick Cotton, and Abel. This issue has betrayal, backstory, and the typical badassery that you would expect from Rogue Sun. And my big thing is we've gotten to know this new character, Divinity. Recently she came onto the scene. She's linked to another important character in the Rogue Sun world. We get to spend a lot more time with her here. We learn a lot more about her, and like that is only half of the cool shit that happens in this issue. I'm not even going to touch the Rogue Sun stuff, because that is like we're delving into like spoiler territory. But there is so much to like about this issue. I think this is a great example of like why we rave about Rogue Sun as much as we do. This is such a complete issue, and now we're adding another cool character to the mix who I just want to spend more and more time with. So now Rogue Sun is dealing with two awesome kick-ass characters, and that's not even counting his dad, who's another interesting character, and his family, who has an interesting cast of characters as well.
Yeah, and again, like all these issues just ended so perfectly. That we discussed today. This is another one that just ended. You just go, holy cow. All right. Come on, Ryan. If you're listening, please send. I'm getting antsy here.
Yeah.
But it was so good, because again, it's another issue where you get some great backstory. It doesn't bog down what's going on at all. Like, again, another perfectly paced book. You're pulled right in, and it's just like bang. Like, I think that's part of the reason why I was able to read so many books this week, is because the pacing on all of them was so like bang. You just read it, you didn't put down, and you went start to finish, like that.
A lot of fast reads. I agree. A lot. Like, it's just so much good stuff. This is a banner week for comics, period, across the board. And also talking about Rogue Sun, it's making me think, like, we talked about this a little while ago, but we haven't talked to Michael Basudel, who's the editor extraordinaire for the Massiverse. And I know we don't normally like to talk about Jinx and stuff and whatever, but like we should probably check in with him, because it's been we checked with him like 2 years ago, like as of like January, I think. So it'd be good to just, there's a lot going on with the Massiverse. I mean, Catalyst Wars over, all this kind of shit. So yeah, it might be good for us to check in with him, after the new year or something. But anyways, awesome stuff, Joe. Awesome, awesome comics to talk about. I had a blast, and there's more stuff for me to read, and can't wait to get some, physical copies of some of these as well. But yeah, until next week, have a very happy Thanksgiving, my friend, to you and your family, of course. And until next week, stay sexy.
You know it, baby. Oh shit! Keep reading. Yes. Ha ha.